Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Tonight, we're venturing into the misty swamps of the Australian Highlands, a place of breathtaking beauty, but also of deep, dark mystery. We're not just chasing any shadow tonight. We're on the trail of a creature with a name that has echoed through Australian folklore for centuries, the Bunyip. But we're narrowing our focus to a very specific and much more modern incarnation of this legendary beast, the Burrawang Bunyip. This isn't just a story from the ancient dreamtime. It's a mystery that unfolded within living memory, a tale of terrifying roars that shook a small village to its core, and then, just as mysteriously, fell silent. For decades, the residents of Burrawang, a quaint village in the southern highlands of New South Wales, lived in the shadow of a bellowing monster. It was a sound that defied easy explanation, a roar so powerful it was said to rattle bottles on the shelves of the local pub. This was a creature that seemed very, very real to the people who heard its nightly cries. But what was it? Was it a surviving relic of a prehistoric age? A genuine flesh and blood monster lurking in the murky depths of the local swamp? Or was it something else entirely? A natural phenomenon misinterpreted, or a case of collective fear given a name? In this episode, we're peeling back the layers of the Burrawang Bunyip legend. We'll journey back to the Dreamtime to understand the origins of the Bunyip myth, a creature with 1,000 different faces, all of them terrifying. We'll then fast forward to the 20th century to hear the stories of the railway workers and publicans who swore they heard the beast of Burrawang. We'll examine the scientific theories, from the plausible to the outright strange, that have been put forward to explain the infamous roar. And finally, we will try to answer the question that has lingered for decades. Was the Burrawang Bunyip an ancient reality, or purely a myth? Get ready, as we descend into the swamp and confront the legend of the Burrawang Bunyip. To understand the mystery of Burrawang, we must first delve into the ancient, sprawling mythology of the Bunyip itself. The word Bunyip is believed to have originated from the Wemba or Wurrgia languages of the Aboriginal people of Victoria, and is often translated today as devil or evil spirit. But the creature it describes is far more complex and varied than a simple translation can convey. The Bunyip is a cornerstone of Aboriginal folklore, a terrifying amphibious creature said to inhabit the swamps, billabongs, creeks, and waterholes of southeastern Australia. Descriptions of the Bunyip are notoriously inconsistent. Some tales describe a creature resembling a seal or a large swimming dog, covered in shaggy black or brown fur. Others paint a picture of a long-necked beast with a small head, perhaps like a prehistoric plesiosaur. Still other accounts give it tusks, a horse-like tail, or even feathers. This inconsistency is one of the hallmarks of the Bunyip legend. Its form seems to shift and change depending on the storyteller and the region. But one thing remains constant: the fear it inspires. The Bunyip is almost always depicted as a malevolent entity, a nocturnal predator with a booming, terrifying cry. It was said to prey on animals and humans alike, with a particular fondness for women and children who strayed too close to the water's edge. These stories served a practical purpose, acting as cautionary tales to keep children away from dangerous, deep waters. The first written use of the word Bunyip appeared in 1818, when an account of a strange aquatic animal sighted in New South Wales was recorded. Throughout the 19th century, as European settlers pushed further into the Australian interior, they began to hear these stories from the local Aboriginal populations and even report their own encounters. The notion that the Bunyip was a real, undiscovered animal took hold in the colonial imagination. Strange bones were found, like those discovered by explorer Hamilton Hume in 1818, and were sometimes attributed to the Bunyip. In 1847, a bizarre, malformed skull was even put on display in the Australian Museum in Sydney, proudly labelled as a Bunyip skull, causing a sensation before it was later identified by experts as the deformed skull of a foal or calf. This brings us to the unique case of the Burrawang Bunyip. Unlike most Bunyip legends, which are rooted in ancient Aboriginal dreaming stories, the Burrawang specimen is a far more modern phenomenon. The stories here don't speak of a creature seen, but of a creature heard. The legend centers on the large swamp in the valley below the village of Burrawang, a place rich with unusual wildlife, including the rare giant dragonfly, an insect from the time of the dinosaurs. It was from these murky depths that the roar of the Bunyip would emerge. The first widely reported account comes from the early 1930s, when a group of railway workers, laboring near the swamp, reportedly fled in terror after hearing a series of strange, horrifying noises emanating from the water. Their fear was real, whatever the source of the sound. The legend truly took hold, however, in the 1960s. During this period, the bull-like roar from the swamp became a regular occurrence, a part of the local soundscape. The sound was so powerful and unnerving that it became a local legend. Ede Wolfrey, the former publican at the Burrawang Hotel, recalled that the roar was so loud it would shake the bottles off the top shelf of the bar. This wasn't a distant, faint cry. It was a powerful, visceral sound that echoed through the village, sending shivers down the spines of all who heard it. The people of Burrawang lived with this sound for years, a constant, terrifying reminder of the monster that they believed lurked in the swamp below. With such dramatic and consistent eyewitness accounts of a terrifying roar, the question of what was making the noise became a subject of intense speculation. For many locals in Burrawang, the answer was simple. It was a bunyip. But for scientists and skeptics, the explanation had to lie in the natural world. Over the years, a number of fascinating theories have been proposed, not just for the Burrawang case, but for the bunyip legend as a whole. One of the most compelling and widely accepted explanations for many historical bunyip sightings is the misidentification of